every item in a military collection was once worn by its original owner. Sometimes the original owner chooses to follow their item after they have died. Not always do they let you know they are watching over their item, but some will. I have always saw a person in my house and knew someone was here because of my collection. I spoke to several mediums and they have always mentioned the name JJ, and I always asked, who is JJ? They have always told me there is a mask with a bag he is protecting. Right after we learned who was in our house, my wife started seeing a soldier. He started to appear in our everyday life, and not just at home, but at our works, in our cars, and on trips. Not just JJ, but his wife as well. After a very long reading session with a medium, I learned JJ has interest in me and what I do. JJ wants his story to be heard and the men of the First World War to be remembered, so he sticks around his mask and protects it. I have had bad experiences with the paranormal in my house growing up, so I made sure JJ was a positive energy. JJ and I have had many interactions through signs and conversations. The way he lets me know he is there is by giving me his scent, which is a dark cigar smoke. JJ and I have made a deal. He will protect my house while I'm away, my collection, and look after my wife, and I will make sure his name and the men of the First World War is remembered. JJ's picture is now in our living room, and he is considered family to my wife and I. He has always told me I owe him no kindness, but he thanks me for everything I do for him. I reenact the First World War to keep their history alive, and JJ is with me at every reenactment. Like and follow for part 2. For my viewers who can see spirits or consider yourself a medium, look in the doorway of this building. That is John in the doorway, not a reenactor. The average person cannot see him. This is the only photo I have of him as a spirit. This dugout is called the Keystone Manor. This is where we stayed during the Newville World War I reenactment. This is the story of John J. King, also known as JJ. John was born on December 16, 1892 in Allegheny, Pennsylvania. John joined the U.S. Army National Guard on December 16, 1914. This is John's gas mask. He wrote his full name, Army serial number, and unit. He also told me that he wrote "My Pal Forever and Ever" as a tribute to a long-lost friend during the war. He also wrote England, France, Belgium, because that is where he fought during the First World War. This mask was carried by him, and heaven left his side during the First World War. All 6 years of his army service, this mask was either on his chest or hip. John was a PFC in Headquarters Company, 107th Field Artillery, 28th Division. John fought in several skirmishes, including the Second Battle of the Somme. John was wounded on August 22, 1918 by a piece of shrapnel. He was carrying his best friend out of a shell hole, and was promoted to the rank of PFC for his actions. John also told me when he was wounded, he was sent to a large hospital in France where he stayed for several weeks. He kept telling me about the nurse that cared for him. That nurse stole John's heart. On April 10, 1919, John was sent home on board the USS Mongolia with the rest of the 107th Field Artillery. After the war, John moved to San Francisco, California, where he was finally at peace and spent a lot of his time on the beach. John died on December 20th, 1969. I was told by his wife Stella that John was cremated and spread over several locations, but has a family cemetery a mile from his parents' house in Allegheny, Pennsylvania. John drew me this map. The little house is where his mother's house was, and the X is his family cemetery in Allegheny, Pennsylvania. Next month, I plan to honor him by bringing his gas mask and uniform to his family cemetery and cleaning up their headstones. Like and follow for Part 3. During Part 3, I will be traveling to Allegheny, Pennsylvania to his family cemetery.